Welcome to the Life of Excellence podcast, a podcast dedicated to the ever-evolving understanding of what it means to be human. We'll delve into fields of longevity, health optimization, neuroscience, explorations of consciousness, and meaning in life. Thanks for joining me on this ride, and let's get on with the show. Welcome to today's episode of the Life of Excellence podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about wearables. Specifically, I'm going to talk to you about the Readiness Score or the training readiness. This is an important metric that people underuse. So what is Readiness Score or training readiness? Now, I know a lot of you out there you have wearables. You have Oura Rings, you have Ultrahuman rings, you have the Garmins, you have the Whoops, whatever it is. There's this area that they have, and it's called Readiness Score or Training Readiness. What exactly is this? Well, this is a metric on these wearables that takes into account many different factors to give you an idea of how prepared your body is for training. Now, some people will use this to say, okay, is this a readiness score for a day of performance or a day of training? Well, the answer is not quite clear on that, because some people will use the training score to predict their performance for the day or their training ability on the day. And that's not exact science on that, because there are people that could really just have a very poor night's sleep in leading up to an event and still perform very well in the event. But in general, the readiness training or the training readiness score is a good predictor of the body's reserves. Now, this is something that different wearables will take into account different factors when they do this. Garmin uses the following. It uses sleep score, recovery time, HRV, the acute load of the exercises over the last couple of days, the average sleep score over the last couple of days, and your recent stress. And this training readiness focuses on the relationship between the elements of strain, stress, recovery, good sleep hygiene, and your ability to maintain a healthy system when you go into training. Now, the way I use this is that I will look at my training readiness. And if I am into a moderate range, I feel good about training for that day. Now, if I have a high intensity training that day, I might back off just a little bit if I'm in a moderate zone. But if I'm in a low zone, this is going to be a detraining day. This is a day that I may go for a walk or a jog, but definitely don't want to do anything that's more strenuous than that, because I have seen that when I have low training readiness and I do an intense workout because that's what I had scheduled, I tend to really tank over the next couple of days. My HRV drops, my stress levels go up, my sleep scores go down. So I pay attention to this because it is something that is relevant to me. The other wearable I use is the Ultrahuman ring, and it uses a couple of different things. It uses the resting heart rate, skin temperature, the 7-day heart rate variability trend, along with overnight HRV. I'm not sure how the algorithm works, but it also uses sleep index, and it uses stress rhythm. So most of the time, my Garmin and my Ultrahuman are pretty well matched. I have had days where there was a mismatch on that. And what I do on those days is I will go by how I feel. And a lot of times I will override the readiness because of the fact that I feel great and it's inconsistent with the way I feel. The majority of the time when I'm in a low training readiness, I tend to feel that way. And it's not that the results of what the ring or the watch is telling me is really making me feel that way. I always say, how do I feel before I even look at it, so that I can see if it's consistent with what my interoception of what my body's doing is correct. Now, the other one that a lot of our clients use is the Oura Ring. And the Oura Ring uses, again, some of the same metrics, but also some other ones. It puts in there body temperature. It uses heart rate variability, resting heart rate, sleep score, and overnight oxygen saturation changes. That's something different than the other two use, and I have not found that the Oura was as strong on the readiness score for me. That's why I tend to use the Ultrahuman ring, but I have other people that find that Oura is much more accurate for the way they feel. So it's good to find a wearable that gives you that feedback that is consistent with your interoception, and check it periodically. Make sure that you're saying, this is how I feel, before you look at this training readiness. But using this to guide your workouts rather than doing a scheduled workout because that's what you have scheduled, you need to be flexible and be able to adjust based on what you're seeing with the feedback from your body. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review, offer some suggestions for future episodes, and join us next time.